Okay, so the first that we'll start the story with, it was a cold winter's night in Russia.
It was a cold winter's night in Russia, and Sven was walking around his local
Asda. Trying to find some fish fingers to make that delicious sandwich he'd been craving
for weeks and weeks. So he went on to make this delicious
fish sandwich with toast instead of bread. It was luscious.
In so many ways, because the toaster had been carved from steel made out of robots that had previously fought in the
Russian and Soviet Union war. That's right, they're two places in one place. It's incredibly quantum. And so as he pressed the bread into the toaster,
a noise distracted him, and when he came back to the toaster, the
Stalin had invaded. It was bad, because everyone knows that when Stalin invades,
bad things happen. Poor agrarian reforms.
Also, a hell of a lot of jelly beans being thrown around.
which is really bad because if somebody
was to slap on them, it would hurt.
Safety would get involved.
And then, no, fuck.
Okay, so that's one person gone. We're going to introduce a new element to the story. Can I have an object that needs to feature?
Cucumber!
Cucumber! There you go.
A little bit too fast.
You need to work the cucumber into your story about Stalin invading his own country. So where were we from?
Ben and the sandwich, Stalin.
Stalin invading. We'll just continue with Stalin's invasion. Andy.
Stalin invading using a cucumber.
Die!
No. Objection. Wrong game. Right. A new element, please.
A yo-yo.
Any more?
The brain of a jellyfish.
The brain of a jellyfish. I like it. Right. Okay. Stalin had invaded with a cucumber. You now need to work a brain into a jellyfish. Not too early, if you can. We'll start with Alex.
Stalin invaded using a cucumber. He used it as some kind of mallet kind of weapon which he would hit people
over the head with. They did not like this because being a cucumber
isn't very nice, because being 96% water is pretty poor, especially when you're surrounded by toasters.
But considering humans are 74% water,
They decided they had to go around and become a bit more drier, so they're not that much.
Come on, Dad!
Come on, Lucy.
Come on, Lucy. I think I might get like stoned. Right, okay. New element. A new location, please.
Serbia.
Nowhere near Russia, and no TARDISes.
Free space post office.
What?
Disney World!
No space fucking post office. Disneyland. Right. Work Disneyland into it.
where were we?
Cucumbers are 96% water, and this is bad for humans because they're dry. And go from that, Philip.
It's bad for humans.
They're 96% water, which is bad for humans. And remember, you've got to work in Disneyland because Philip.
And the brain of a jellyfish.
Yes, that's still on the way. Okay, so Nina, start.
The people who had been hit over the head by cucumbers were very unhappy and decided to kidnap Stalin.
Especially due to his jellyfish brain, which he created in 1942. But
Impromptu fragment.
Do you guys want to move along just to the middle of it so everyone can see? Okay. Right. We still haven't had Disneyland, so we'll stick with that for now. We've still got to work that in.
So where were we then?
Stalin had the brain of a jellyfish.
They invented it in 1942.
He invented it in 1942. Okay, so Alex, go.
whilst working in Disneyland with Walt Disney, who's notoriously hateful towards the Jews. This has nothing to do.
Die.
Why die?
Historically inaccurate.
This is improv, it's not about facts. Go!
Which has nothing to do with his hatred for his own country, whilst he runs around hitting people over the head with
cucumbers. The jellyfish brain, however, impeded him in this because it meant that he felt
like he was worse than...
It's not going to turn lesbian, don't worry. Okay, so we've had Disneyland. Can I have a new object, please?
Rich Garland.
Only for his girlfriend. Now, another object, please.
Tablespoon.
Tablespoon, I heard. Right.
Wait. So, Stalin, the brain of a jellyfish, hitting people with a cucumber
He worked on this in Disneyland with Walt Disney, and you need to work a tablespoon into this. So go from he invented it in Disneyland with Walt Disney, and yeah, work that into it. Lucy.
So, he went to Walt Disney and invented the thing with the Disneyland. When suddenly, Sven came along with his new toasted sandwich
and said, "This inspires me to pick up a tablespoon. I am going to go and take on Stalin, myself, with my tablespoon."
So he did, and it was amazing. Epic. There was Stalin with his
Cucumber going mushy in his hand because it's being whacked repeatedly by a
massive, giant bush.